face mask on, which is nice. It's the blueberry one from Sephora. It looks good.
Blueberry
I
antioxidants.
think it does slide down, but the longer you keep it on, the better. But anyways, I'm Nia. Do you want to go by DJ AAA? What do you? I just put DJ AAA.
Yeah, I'm DJ. Hi.
I got my little bag of healthy popcorn that tastes like nothing.
Can't see
Um,
anything, so I'm just gonna shut off my camera.
yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
But I
should
hope a
I
black
mute
girl hears
myself
this.
too?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Okay. I hope a black girl hears this. I was gonna get on the phone and start talking to my best friend about this, and I was like, maybe I should hear about this because I talked to my best friend. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a video, and I'd never make the video, so here we are. We're just gonna have the video. Bonnet is on. Girl got her braids in. I did it all day. Had a little spa day to myself. It felt very nice. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nia. This is my bestie DJ AAA. I hope I said that right. Sometimes I'd be wanting to spell it with
Yeah.
like 3 A's, but then I'm like, I don't
I
know.
do. That's how I spell it. DJ
Well,
triple A.
I wrote it out.
Yeah, that's how I spell it. DJ triple A. But it's 3A.
Oh. Well, I put DJ AAA.
That's fine.
Okay.
Use my promo code.
um, but yeah, so two things I want to talk about: food, diet, life, whatever. We'll talk about that. But the biggest motivator that made me want to speak to my friend was that I was just about to tell her how I feel like people don't respect my credentials. People don't respect me. People like, and I feel like, I'm about to say, how do I get the respect of others? Like, that's how I've been feeling for the past, like, since April or since like undergrad. Like I've been feeling not respected in high school and in community college. People gave me credit where credit was due. They liked my swag. They loved my style. They're like, girl, you look good. Okay. And, we was chilling. And then they would go home about their day and I was nice to them. People loved my art, gave me credit. Credit was where credit is due. People gave me that. But now I'm in a job or in a place, even if it was college, where people are so fucking insecure, they are not nice to me. They make it seem like I am a nobody. They make it seem like I don't have any credentials. They literally downplay my fame when they don't know who I am. But like, as in, internally, like, me, you're my bestie. But at the end of the day, it's like, I've been hating this feeling of trying to prove my fucking self to people. I'm like, yo, you don't even know me. And if I do, they do know me. They know I have a YouTube channel. They know I'm a baddie. They know my body looking good. They know men love me. They know I love me. They know this. Women I meet, women or men, gay or straight, know this about me. They see it. I know they see it. But then they're like, I'm going to act like you ain't shit. And I've been so annoyed at that. How do I deal with that? Like, what do you think about that? Like, in my feelings, like, what do you think? What do you think?
I think overall, it's less about like gaining people's respect that don't matter because at the end of the day, your life will go on whether or not these people are in it. And you have to start thinking about like, what do I do to gain these people's respect? I don't think it should be about that anymore because you're an adult. It should more so be at this point about like, I don't need these people's respect to, do the things that I do in my life and feel good about them. And I know that sucks because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, we all want to like feel validated for the work or the creativity that we do and that we have. But that comes also with like an audience and also like the right people. You'll never feel quite respected by people who don't respect themselves and don't want to give respect out to other people. So it's like it will always be a losing battle with that type of person, especially when they have insecurities, especially when they want to find something to pick at or be jealous of without, taking accountability for that jealousy. So I think it's like, if you want to be above them, you have to stop thinking or asking for respect from other people who don't even deserve like your presence, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like it becomes less about them. Like, who cares if other people make you feel like a nobody? If you know you're not a nobody, it should be enough. Like it should be enough to self-validate yourself and prove like yourself through your work ethic and through what you do and the things that you create rather than like having somebody tell you, this is I respect this that you do this, blah blah blah. Like it always feels good to feel validated, but when it comes from the right people at the right time, it's much more valuable than coming from people that just they will never, they will always seek to be jealous of other people because that's just in their nature, unfortunately. From some unresolved issues they have in their life, whether it's their trauma, their insecurities, who knows? Like people could secretly like and respect you but never say it because of their own insecurities, and I think that's the problem. Like we have to get used to people just not people will not always voice how they feel. People often don't. And there are people who are nice though that do respect people and they just don't say it because maybe they're just not that type of person. They could be introverted, they could be like able to talk to people that they think are like above them, whatever. Um, and I think that's also not it. Like somebody doesn't have to be above you or better than you to like have respect for you, if that makes sense. You know, like people don't have to be beneath you to like have them respect you. So it's just kind of like it's a weird balance. I don't think that it should be something that's always strived for because then it's like you're constantly searching for somebody else to validate you rather than how you actually feel about the things that you do. Because you know that you love the things that you do. You know that you love making content, that you're confident, you love your own style, you have like your own everything about you. And that should honestly be enough because it will inspire the people that it should inspire. And they will say, they will give you praise when it is, for them, it feels praiseworthy for like the right people, the right audience. It's always about that. Even if like you were an individual that didn't have a YouTube and you were just somebody, like me, like just like a regular person, like who didn't have a social media that had like a legitimate audience. Like for instance, like if you were just a person living your life and it still has to do with like the right audiences and like the right friends, the right people around you, the right peers, like will give you credit. Like I'll use an example too, like before you speak about like how I felt in my last job, how I felt very like disrespected by my coworkers. They didn't respect the work that I did. They always put me down. They always mistrusted me. They didn't like trust my work ethic. And I kind of like ended up playing into that because I I didn't want to I just didn't bother proving myself to them, and it also in that, like, I started, like, not proving myself to myself. Like, I was so, like, unmotivated to do my job, I got depressed. I didn't wanna do anything, so I just, like, stopped working well. So, like, the things that they started saying about me started becoming true even though they weren't before, because I just didn't like my job anymore. But now it's like when you go to an environment where people kinda like you, and you might start liking that position because it's just that environment where people can give you that credit. And there's also some environments like, like you were talking about where people are jealous, but at the same time, if you love your job more than the people around you, it's worth staying and fighting for that because also, like, what you do is kind of unique. Like, it's not like you have to be around the same people 24/7. I have to be around the same group of people, like, every day of the week. More than I see, like, my family, more than I see you. Like, I see these people, more than I go home, honestly, like 40 hours a week. So it's kinda like, have a privilege to work and, like, kind of have your own schedule, own timing. You have the choice to like not always interact with people. It's kind of it's nice. So it's kind of like you get to make a choice too of whether or not you let these people kind of dictate how you feel about what you do outside of work.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really like that advice, and like I like that thinking that you have. For me, it's like I'm in a very misogynistic job, and not inherently the job is misogynistic either. Like it is so the job I'm in is travel based and it's changed. If y'all follow me, you will know. So follow me and you will know. I can't say it out loud, but y'all know my job. If you follow me and you've been my day one, you know what it is, and so happy for me. And I soaked in how happy everyone was for me when I first got this job. um, but like I'm in a job where everyone is trying to be pin up, put the wig on straight here, trying to walk around and flaunt things that they don't have. And imagine you see a girl that has a nice butt like me, and I'm not even showing it off. A lot of people get really mean and nasty and jealous and start making it seem like your uniform doesn't look right, or they'll be like, what size are you wearing, instead of saying you look nice in your uniform. But I think Imma take what you said, there's good and bad people. I shouldn't just think like, "Oh my god, this isn't for me," or whatever. Like, I'm starting to feel like I'm a part of a cheerleader squad, and I'm not a cheerleader. I am an art nerd kid. That's always been me. I'm an outcast. So I get into this world of like, Imma call it the Sky Club cheerleaders, and I don't feel like I'm in the right space. Like, they make me feel like something's wrong with me, especially because I learned with groups of misogyny and patriarchy, and the groups that like that, they usually run with insecurity. Like, we all have to have the same insecurity and the same shitty ass nigga, and that's how we will get along. We got to understand that. But then they meet Nia, and Nia's over here in this high, the high sky club, like single, smart, educated, natural hair. And on top of that, you need to understand that it's not just coworkers. I deal with customers. So for me, customers, there could be some annoying ones. I've had two terrible customers throughout this entire time. Terrible, but just two. And it's been 7 months. And basically, I've had customers who like me for me when my hair is cocked to the side in the way I don't like it, still getting a compliment in front of that coworker. When I'm not looking my best or feeling myself, still getting a compliment in front of that coworker, and I feel the tension between me and that coworker because they are looking for a compliment. They're straightening their hair every day, and got cat strands everywhere and all that just falling out. Wigs is falling out. And I want to say one thing before I continue. I was listening to a hairdresser who does the what's it called? I forgot what it's called, but it's in Atlanta, those hair shows. He is a black gay male. He's thick, short, and he be wearing nice heels. Forgot his name. He literally just did a TikTok saying, "Girls, wigs are not meant to be worn every day. They are meant for movies, TV shows. They're meant for the show. They're not meant to be worn every day." And he said, "Stop putting that glue on your head." And I really love that he said that, because what I'm trying to get at with my story is that you got girls that wear wigs every day, not a goddamn compliment comes their way. So here I am. I come out of nowhere with my natural, literally, like, with my natural hair, come out of nowhere, looking like I do, and I'm getting compliments. All types of brothers are showing me love. All types of white men are showing me love. Older women are showing me love. I'm showing them love, and it comes out of me naturally. I'm not even doing it for, a flex or anything. Excuse me. And then it's like, I know that their actions that follow that, like not helping me with something in service, or not doing something that they were supposed to do, or being aggy, or not helping me when it comes to like where teamwork. They stop working with me as a team because they are jealous. And it's like, what do I do? Do I put a cap on and hide it? Like, what can I do? Do I stop talking to people? And at some points I did feel like that. I felt like I needed to hide, because my validation that I get naturally from other people is what they're seeking from other people, and that's why they hate me, because I've had so many experiences in a four-year university where that has happened, where I've gotten validation from strangers that I didn't even ask for. Meanwhile, someone was looking for it, they do something terrible to me, and then I learned the reason they did something terrible to me was because they were looking for the validation that I got. That's my thing.
Oh, is it my turn now? Um, I don't know how to respond, but I agree. I think that a lot of people can kind of get, uh very jealous of seeing other people in front of them, like, get some kind of validation. I think jealousy is, like, a very natural thing that probably everybody goes through at one point in their life, but I think when you don't manage your jealousy or acknowledge it, that could be very dangerous for how you deal or treat other people, because it starts becoming very, like, you may not even understand that you are jealous, but you may be treating somebody poorly because of your jealousy, regardless of understanding your jealousy. And I think that's a really big issue that a lot of people, especially women, because we're always competing with each other, we're pitted against each other, to do so, especially by men. So it's kind of like, sadly, it's become such a natural thing for a lot of women who may not understand their desire to seek validation from men or just people in general. Um, and they feel jealous when that doesn't come their way because they've tried so hard. Like, it reminds me too, like, we were talking about Euphoria the last time, But it reminds me also of, like, as much as I, like, grew to hate that show, like, of Maddie and Cassie or whatever, of their rivalry because it was kinda like, the white girl, Sydney Sweeney, F you, Sydney. She basically was like she started to, like, try to work so hard on herself and how she looked. She would get up at, like, the butt crack ass of dawn to wake up and try to be seen by one man who did not give a single fuck about this girl because he was into somebody else, and also not even into them, just into also somebody else. So it was just like this whole thing of like trying so hard to just be seen, and how that kind of makes you very crazy. It makes you very like kind of very paranoid as well about the other interactions that you have around you. You become very hyper aware of what other people in front of you are experiencing as well as yourself because you're constantly looking for validation. So, like imagine like somebody who is acting like that every day. They get up hours before their shift to do their makeup, to shave their legs, to like, straighten their hair, to make sure everything is done correctly to them. They, ironing their uniform, making sure everything is right, that their boobs look a certain way, their body looks a certain way. Then they get to work and they're constantly, it's exhausting. They're constantly focusing on any single customer that's going to give them a bit of attention and trying to hold up how they look rather than like even the job itself.
Can I say
And then
something?
yeah.
I just want to cut you off because I love what you just said. And what I get, the retaliation is what I get from this. I get, oh, she's lazy. Oh, she don't do nothing. She don't do her job. Oh, and I'm like, I just came to work, did what I have to do, and I go home. I'm not looking for a badge. I'm not looking for a raise. I'm going to work, I'm going home, and I have some side businesses that's my life. That's my love, my content, my art, myself, my health. That's me. And then I get called lazy. I get lied on. I get all this stuff happens, but I just wanted to say that the retaliation is what's happening to me. And I just don't like it from so many coworkers. And people are like, you should clock them. And I'm like, clock them for what? People are gonna believe what they want to believe. I just gotta let it go.
Yeah, I agree with that because it's kinda like if you had to clock every single person that you met in your life that was, like, going to give you a problem or going to be jealous of you, like, it would be a never-ending battle, and just a constant stress. Like, you would have to go through the same level of exhaustion that they do just trying to be noticed by people. So it's just like, what's the point? Literally, what's the point? Like, I see no point anymore in, like even in, like, interpersonal relationships with, like, family sometimes and, like, certain people, like, it's just kinda like it becomes a thing where sometimes you realize it is not worth the battle for you to have to go out of your way to make somebody know that they did you wrong because if they can't understand it like you will never get an apology for that or a change in behavior. Like there are plenty of people who do something and can realize on their own like a grown adult that they've done something wrong and can come to terms with that. And I think too that there are some people that are worth like talking to, like if you have a friendship, like there are some people that are worth talking to, but when say for instance like a coworker or something like that, unless it's like something very severe, let's say, because if something's very severe, it's worth like noting. But like if it's like these petty things that people are going through, it's just like there's no point in you, wasting your time to call behavior out that's never going to be fully addressed by them. It takes two to have a conversation and one person is not when one person isn't willing to do that, then you having a conversation is pointless, energy waste. Like it's a pointless thing for you to have to go through at that point. Only if you think that somebody is willing to like show you communication and respect as well, would it be worth it? But most people like that tend to not be. And you could try. Like in my opinion, I feel like everybody could always like if you were that type of person, you can try once, but if that person doesn't show you like a reciprocation, then it's kind of like, okay, once like, once shame on you, twice shame on me. Like I can't keep trying and trying and trying with somebody who is not going to reciprocate any type of emotional communication or respect for me. And that's kind of how it is, especially at work, because you know, you develop, I feel like, and your job is very strange and unique. Like you develop very close relationships with people really quickly. So it's kind of like it's really bizarre. Like I think with any job sometimes people have very different ideas of what like relationships with coworkers look like, but especially like in your job, like I think it's a very you're with somebody for a long period of time at one time, or like a binge of days that is like it kind of makes you feel like you're closer to this person than you really are. People get kind of weird, and I think that people often feel embarrassed for like, you know, telling you too much information about themselves. And oftentimes that's when people shut down because they realize they told you too much. And maybe you're judging them, or you're telling other people their business, or who knows. Like, you know, that's kind of the thing that I would be thinking about. Like, is this person going to tell my business? Like, that's something everybody should probably think about. But most people don't. Like, they don't think about, like, oh, if I'm going to tell you some very deep personal information about myself, are you going to talk about me behind my back? Or what do you even think about that? You know, some people just don't, and they just tell you shit and then expect that you're gonna either, I don't know, uphold what they're telling you or believe them or whatever it is. Like, you know, they want you to support them at the end of the day. And maybe that's because they don't have support in their own life somewhere, maybe a lack of friendship somewhere, who knows? But I just think it's interesting. I think it's a really bizarre thing that people go through. Um, but it's like, you know, you can't always be like somebody's trauma dump situation. It's not always going to be your fault to boost up their self-esteem when they're trauma dumping on you in a work setting. It's kind of a weird thing. It's not your job, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that. I definitely agree with that. I think the solution for me, I'm trying to work on it. I'm still taking the high road. I'm always taking the high road. It's benefited me. I know other coworkers be like, "Girl, you can't let them talk to you like that. Don't ever do that." And it's coming. It'll be black women. They coming from a good heart. They come from a good place with it too. They like, don't let nobody do that. And I'm just like, I know. And they're very sweet. I'm thankful for all those women who've talked to me about the bad interactions I've had with coworkers. But I've also had good ones, so I need to outweigh it. I've had good ones, but I was thinking about the good ones I've had, and everyone says, yeah, don't make friends with coworkers, but there's some people like you're just gonna make friends with, and that's okay. You just tread lightly, but it's okay. I'm not saying be deep personal, but like anything that you say to them, just make sure you will say to somebody else. Like I make sure anything I said to people is something I say on YouTube. I talk about my family drama. I talk about myself. I talk about my dating. I'm here. I'm talk about it. So I'll talk to people about it because I could talk about it. But if it's something I won't say on YouTube, I try not to say it to them. That's my rule. Um, and then basically, I've noticed the two people. There's a black woman and Arabic man. Are the only two people that I will say fuck with from my job because I was like trying to figure out what about them do I like. I'm like they're not perfect people either. Like they're not like they're sweet, but like they're not perfect. I'm not trying to be like, oh, these are the most perfect people in the group. No, but what I noticed about them is they have so much fucking confidence in the most delusional way, and not in a bad way. They're both cute as shit, but like they have the most confidence, as in you can't tell them nothing. And maybe that's why it works so well with them. And we also have distance. We have a liking and understanding, but we also have distance. We're not bothering each other or like, we're not doing too much. So I realized like I really think the reason why I work so well with these two is because, and as in personality wise, is because of confidence. Once again, these people are not perfect. They got some flaws about them, just like I have about myself. But I was trying to figure out, I was like, why are they the only ones that like I have on my Instagram and I'm still like okay with? You know what I mean? Versus many other people. Well, I don't have anybody else on it, but like I'm just like these two are just chill. And they be doing what they want, even if it's good or bad, doing whatever they want and they own it. They own their shit. Maybe that's it. They own their shit. Um, no one's perfect. They could be lying about stuff. They could be a little crazy, but for some reason, I think I work well with people who just own their shit, even if it's bad shit. Even if it's like, yeah, that wasn't right. Yeah, you know what? I had my kids young. You shouldn't have done that. I did this. You shouldn't have done that. Like they own their shit. But maybe that should be literally the title of this, owning your shit, because I think those are the people I work so well with. Like, even when it comes to, older women that I meet that tell me, like, I did this, that was so dumb, this and that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do this. Don't do that. I did this. I don't want that for you. And we click. We click so well. And they're like, yeah, that's what you did too. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. Don't do that. Like, they don't sit there and be like, my man, my man, my man. They like, nah, that was dumb. I did something like that. That was stupid. I click so well with those people. I really do. Even people who are just like, yeah, I did this in a relationship that was messed up. I did this yesterday. That was not great. I click so well. And I'm not saying you need to be a negative Nancy. I'm just saying I just click with people who own their shit. I feel like people who don't own their shit, I don't work well with. I just don't. I don't work well with. I can't understand them. They're very mean to me. I'm like, I don't know, but I've been talking to my bestie DJ AAA about another thing, which we're probably gonna end it on. We're gonna talk about food another time. You see me over here. um, is what do I do when people are like talking to me about shit I don't care about, like, or something that I just disagree with? I tend to just be honest and just be like, that's dumb, you shouldn't do that. Or I like, for instance, I had a coworker talking to me about how, they wanted to mess around with this guy who got their number or whatever at work. And I was like, girl, he just trying to F. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, girl. Like, why? Also, I didn't ask. Like, people just tell me things. I didn't ask. Like, people just walk up to me and start saying shit. Like, I don't know how, what vibe. I'm literally just chilling, prepping stuff up, for my service, and people just walk up to me and just start saying shit, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm fake, like, in a normal way, like, I'm, oh yeah, okay, I understand, I understand, okay, blah blah blah. And then it's like it gets to a point where I'm like, y'all didn't even ask me what did you have for breakfast today. You didn't even ask me how are you feeling today. How's it going? How you been? Nothing. But they just tell me all this crap, and it's in my head, and I'm like, why do I know all your shit? Why I didn't ask you. So what do I do, you guys? Like, do I just walk away? Like, imagine somebody's like, yeah, my boyfriend just broke up to me, and I'm like, bye. Like, what do I what do I do? Like, that would be so awkward if I just walked away, or if I said like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's weird. I'm not gonna do that. That's mean. That's mad mean. Even though that's actually like legit, but that's kind of mean. So I don't know what to do sometimes, because the advice that they're seeking advice, the advice I give to them, majority of the time they look at me like I hate you. Why'd you tell me that? They tell me, oh, my man was knocking me upside the head, but I still love him. And I'm like, yeah, he shouldn't be doing that, girl. You need to find some help. All of a sudden, I know on the inside, they're like, that wasn't the response I wanted. I wanted her
Because
to tell
people
me
wanna
that, oh my God,
complain.
at least you had a man. Huh?
Because people just want to complain. Like a lot of people literally will tell their business just to complain or, get some kind of like it's like a lot of people I think are delusional about their own situation. They'll tell a situation that they've been through or that they're going through and expect a certain response. However, it's kind of like when they don't get that, they're disappointed. So it's just kind of like you can never make people like that happy no matter what you say sometimes. And I feel like sometimes when people tell me information like that, like maybe it's I mean it's not kind of not really mean, it's kind of neutral, but it's kind of like when somebody like you said like says something like I don't know, I'm fighting with my boyfriend or something like that and I'll be like, "Well, I'm glad I don't have one." Like, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm glad I don't have one. Like, like in a funny way because it's kind of like for me, sometimes I have to deal with other people's bullshit through comedy because I'm like, I really don't know what to say. Or I'll just be like, I don't know, some dang, back up. Sorry, I'm parked right now. People are driving crazy. Um, Sometimes I'll just be like, they'll just be going off and stuff like that, and I really don't know what to say. I'm like, that's interesting. Like sometimes I'll just sit there and listen. Like sometimes people really just want people to listen, and they don't even. I feel like some people don't like even want your response. They think they do, but they really don't. And so like sometimes I just stop. I don't respond, but I'll like be listening because I'm just like, I don't know, I don't really know what you want me to say, and I'm like, I'll just listen. Like I'll actively listen, but I just won't really put too much input on something because it's just like it's not my situation. I feel like when people stop relying on you to like give them advice, they'll just like stop coming to you for an answer. Like, and you don't have to be mean about anything, but it's kind of just like disengaging in a way. Like sometimes we're so like, we're nice and we want to like give a solution to people because we see that they're going through something, but some people really don't want a solution. They want to be heard, honestly.
I agree, but how do I handle misogyny? Like it brings me back. I've
Mhm.
had this for the past since April, since I've encountered this career. I've had to be when, like I said, I was an art kid, art nerd, art. I literally skipped lunch and went to the art room. I skipped gym and went to the art room. I was isolated in a art, creative, quirky, weird bubble of expressiveness, ideas, emotions. I like art and theater people are just so different from any other type of people. Like I'm just telling you right now, we are so different. And depending on where you're going, you can encounter, say if you're going down the science route, you know the type of people you're interacting with. You're atypical, like like the doctor route, those that's your group. But I'm an art person and I can switch into so many different areas. Like I can go down science, I can go down mechanical, I can go down any area, and I encounter misogyny the highest in customer service mainly, but I encounter misogyny in these or receptionist jobs, just womanly, whatever, jobs. Like they're talking to me about something and they don't know that I hate misogyny. So I'm listening to them and I'm just like, I feel like I'm being brought into the Tupperware club, like like the Tupperware parties that the old white ladies used to have back then. I feel like I'm a black girl sitting at those and people are yapping and talking around me and I don't understand what's like it's not computing to me because I'm not misogynistic. So it brings me emotionally down when I hear misogynistic things come out of gay men, their mouth, straight women, their mouth, mainly those the two problematic people. When I hear these things, it literally could be like, oh, I love this housewife because she's the prettiest and she has so much like just saying stupid stuff. Cause like I'm thinking about why you're telling me that and think that I'm going to agree. Why do you think I'm going to agree with you? Is it because I'm a woman? I'm not going to say this housewife is pretty because she got a fake butt, fake face, fake everything, fake this, fake that. I'm a black girl and you just said that black girl is pretty. Meanwhile, she don't even look like a black girl. Somebody said that to me and I was just like, it once again, these I don't think they're major digs. They're not personal digs. They don't know me. But it's like because I'm not misogynistic, I don't fit in. I just feel like I don't fit in. That's it. I don't fit in and it's very very hard and it feels mentally draining when I have people bringing me backwards when they talk and I'm like I'm progressive, I'm not about this, I don't need to tell you that, but what you're saying to me I'm just like can you shut the fuck up, like I don't want to I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it, so yeah, that's my
Can I
thing.
can I say something? I think actually it's a good thing. I don't know, maybe this is like not everybody's opinion, but I think it's a good thing to not fit in. Because if you think about it, fitting in is really just like what are we fitting in with? One, and usually the response to that is in like, kind of just society in general, right? And what is like society in general right now? Like the things that are overarching in society right now, like the who built like the foundation of society is not really something that we ever want to align ourselves with because of the fact that it's usually rich, old white men who are misogynistic, PDF files, you know? And so it's kind of like people like that, like we don't need to fit in. And I think I realized that like being younger and like you said, like an artsy kid, like I never fit in anywhere like in my younger days or even now, like I've always kind of been like myself, but it's kind of like the idea of fitting in is very what's it called? I feel like the idea of fitting in is very regressive. Like there are plenty of
No, I
people.
think you're not. I think you're missing it. I'm talking about the retaliation I
I
face.
know.
The retaliation I get.
I understand, but I'm just saying, like, with that concept, like, it's kind of like there's always gonna be people who are gonna retaliate. Like, you're never really going to be able to control somebody else's actions. You can only ever manage your own. Like, it's as shitty as that is. Like, that's just how the world is, unfortunately. And really, it's just about working on managing your reactions or like managing like your lack of reaction to people and how they are because people, like, what I was trying to say about fitting in is that people think, like, they have this concept for themselves of fitting in, and they want to fit you in their box, in the boxes that they were put into as well. And it drives people crazy when they see somebody who doesn't need that. You know, if you don't need that, it makes them feel like, what's wrong with them? You know, looking at somebody who is confident in who they are, who doesn't need to fit in a box in society, it's kind of like looking in a mirror for themselves and seeing all the things about themselves that they don't like, that they were told to hide by society. Like, you may even be very similar to some of the people that don't like you. Like, that's really the thing. Like, you know, you may be very similar to them, which is why you might feel like when you first meet these people that it's like, "Oh, we really, like, mesh well together," and then it's kinda like, "What happened?" Because it's kinda like you're very similar to them, but there are some things that they haven't accepted about themselves that you like about yourself, but they don't. They may have the same characteristics as you, but they may not like those things about themselves or be ready to kind of be confident about them. Whether that's like their personality, whether that's quirks about them, whether it's how they look, whether it's like, you know, how they act or being confrontational, whatever it is. They may have those traits about themselves and that's what they like in you because it's you're similar, but they may not be confident about them. So it's kind of like, you know, looking in a reflection of yourself and being kind of like, dang, you do all these things so well. I don't. What's wrong with me? I don't want to think anything's wrong with me, so I'm going to think something's wrong with you. You know, like it's weird. It's a very cyclical thing that you can't really control. But I think the best thing to do is just understand people like that because then it's kind of like you can manage not being reactive towards it because it's not your fault. And my phone is getting
You're
down
right.
there.
Yeah, I was
So,
about to say we can end this. I
okay.
want to say thank you. We'll talk about food later, another day, but maybe tomorrow. I like that you have come on to these lives with me. We have the chat turned off, but you always can comment when you know it's posted and the replay is going. Thank you everyone for subscribing and watching. We are gonna head out. I hope you have a good night, but I want to form a lot of my talks more like this with my best friend because I feel like I haven't been able to get on here. I tell my best friend so much stuff that I want to talk about here, and it just feels like I'm talking to no one because I'm just looking at myself or a camera. As long I know that my subscribers are here, but I'm just saying I really do love having a dialogue and having my best friend talk is really nice. And hopefully someday I'll open the floor to many other people. I just got to know y'all because y'all not gonna be up on here and going crazy. Bye, y'all. Remember to follow DJ AAA. Where can they find you?
Uh, YouTube,
You too.
SoundCloud in Brooklyn, being a fake DJ. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And your Instagram?
Uh, they don't need that.
Oh, no, they don't need that. Oh, you don't have a business one yet?
No, no, I
Oh,
don't.
it's whatever. Anyways, at least you have YouTube. Bye, y'all.
Bye.